do something that has a small JavaScript API, post it to...
And many people have asked me, why did you want to house a 54-person department in a 300-square-foot room that smelled like feet and computers? And that's a good question. And why we did this was a few reasons, but one backstory on this is, in order to actually place the desk, we had a competition of who could most efficiently place people in the cave. And the only constraint was you could move your arm 6 inches without hitting anybody. You had to optimize the floor plan, and one person ended up winning by fitting the most number of desks. But if I really want to begin with this story, and this is kind of the eventual result after about 6 years of work. And if there's any story that kind of picks out the topic of this, it was, I'm sitting there, and I'm sitting right behind the photographer, and David Axelrod walks up to me, and he taps me on the shoulder. He says, "Hey, Chief, I have a question." I said, "Okay." And he pulls me aside, and he says, "Minnesota, Michigan, Pennsylvania. I need to know if we're going to win or not." And the reason was because the Romney was amping up their spending by millions of dollars in Pennsylvania. They were moving their rallies to Pennsylvania. There was a public poll that showed us a 5-point drop in Michigan, and then Minnesota, apparently, according to some of the super PAC spending, was back on the map. But our data showed not a single distinction in trends from what we had seen in the previous 2 weeks in any of those 3 states, despite what was going on in the public polling. We saw no major statistical movement in Minnesota. What we saw in Michigan we thought could be reduced to just a difference in response rates and polling. In Pennsylvania, we weren't seeing any kind of meaningful difference, but there was this conversation about it because of what was going on in the public polling kind of manifested more through the ecosphere of the media. And he said, I need to know, and I need to know now. So I went through the numbers and walked him through it, and I said, I can guarantee you at 98% statistical certainty we're going to win all 3 of those states. And he said, good. But if you're wrong, and he kind of like shook his finger. So the next morning, I come to the office, and this kid, Jesse, who I work with, goes, "Bro, come here right now. Right now." And I see Axelrod, and he's betting his mustache based on us winning Minnesota, Michigan, and Pennsylvania on air. And somebody looks at me, and there's 2 things, and he goes, "Dude, if you're wrong,